Good evening everyone and welcome. Today is a really special day because we've had a very special person with us. This is Mark O'Dwyer from Torrens University Australia. Mark has been with us for the last 4 days on our different campuses, talking to students, talking to faculty and really engaging with what is special about the relationship between Pearl Academy and Torrance. As most of you know, at Pearl we believe that every student should be a global student, because today in the world, especially in the world of design, in the world of media, it's extremely important to be the best in the world. So Pearl Academy has more than 63 MOUs with colleges around the world. Students get to go for summer exchanges, semester exchanges, 8-week exchanges, and also to do collaborative projects with students from other colleges in the world. One such very special relationship is with Torrens University Australia. And today we have Mark. So Mark is going to tell us about Torrens University, tell us what students who want to go to Torrens University for their final year and get a Torrens University degree, which is a Bachelor of Design or a Bachelor of Media and Communication or a Bachelor of Business, actually will do at Torrens University. Those of you who have any questions, please do write them in the comments area, because we will be getting Mark to answer them. But to start off, Mark, how about you share with our viewers that nice little clip that I saw about Torrens? Yeah. Can we see that? So thank you, Mark, for being with us here at our Rajouri campus, and why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about Torrens University?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So that little video gives an insight into the diversity of Torrens University, the range of campuses that and projects and products and degrees that we offer our students. The opportunity to come to Pearl has been fantastic, because it's allowing us to forge a relationship with Pearl Academy, to invite our students and invite Pearl students, I should say, to come and join us in Australia to complete their degrees on completion of their courses here at Pearl Academy. So I'd just like to share with you what a student can expect on embarking on that journey, what type of experience they can have while coming to Australia. Where will they study? What type of atmosphere, what type of life will studying in Australia offer our students? And what type of modality will our students come to expect, whether they study face-to-face or whether they choose to study online, or even a combination of this. So first of all, Torrens University is part of a global operation, which is large universities, and of course Pearl are part of that family as well. And the reason I just wanted to share this with you is it gives a sense of scale of the operation and how interconnected we all are as part of a much bigger community of institutions and universities, with over 1 million students worldwide in 70 institutions in 25 countries. Now the scale of that is quite enormous, but what's really important is how we engage with our students on a very local level to make them feel part of the community, part of a much bigger family. So Torrens University has some amazing colleges as part of that structure, and it's very aligned with, I suppose, Delhi University in many respects, where it's made of a series of colleges that have tremendous equity and tremendous history within the industry. The leading design college in Australia is Billy Blue, which is part of Torrens University. And from a business perspective, we have APM and Chiefly Business Schools, both ranked in the top 5 within the country. And this affords our students tremendous opportunity to work with the very, very best of products and degrees, and be mentored by lecturers who will really help them achieve their potential as young entrepreneurs, young designers of the future.
So I really like that comparison with Delhi University, because every college that you have within your team, like I can see Media Design School, Billy Blue, Shifley, Blue Mountains, each of these are amazing in their own area, or specialists in their own area, and they all come together under the umbrella name of Torrens University. Fabulous.
So the equity within these colleges is 25 years plus in most cases, which gives tremendous credibility within the industry. And from an employer's perspective, they seek our students because of the expectation of the quality of the student performance, and their willingness and ability to add a tremendous equity to their particular organizations. Achieving recognition is something that's really important to Torrens. It gives us credibility within the market space, so we encourage our students to participate in competitions, in engagements, both domestically and internationally, and the recognition of their participation is what gives them visibility when it comes to employment opportunities in the future. It's not about winning all the time, but it's about participating. It's about understanding and sharing their skills and giving them the confidence to actually step up on the stage and share what they can do. It's through that visibility opportunities come for employment. Now, in Australia, we have a number of campuses available to students, so they can choose where they would like to study. The primary campus and the primary location is, of course, Sydney, which houses the most and the biggest student population, but we have campuses in Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, and across in Auckland as well, with the Media Design School. So in Sydney, we have three very big campuses that focus on design and business and health and hospitality. The beauty of studying at Torrens is all about flexibility, and it's more than just going to a class or attending class. It's about a lifestyle choice. It's about an experience of studying internationally and having the confidence to participate in your classes, being comfortable in your environment, and really allowing yourself to reach your potential as a young designer, as a young entrepreneur in business. The spaces that we use for our campuses have all been recently appointed. They are heritage listed buildings that are beautiful, beautiful environments to study in.
A little louder.
Okay, a little louder. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the innovation and learning spaces have been very carefully curated to allow our students the most and the best opportunity to meet their potentials. We have broken with tradition and dispensed with the use of classrooms per se, in favour of more open plan learning environments that are furnished with couches and lounges and more comfortable settings for students to really immerse themselves. One of the differentiating factors within Torrens' approach is the small classroom size. We're not about big numbers where students are just a number. We're about intimacy. We're about lecturers understanding and knowing their students and working with them on a very, very personal level, which allows students great confidence and comfort in progressing through their studies.
You know, Mark, when we had gone to the Ultimo campus in Sydney when we were setting up Rajouri Garden, and it's actually based, a lot of ideas came from there, you know, creating little huddle spaces for students to sit in and work, multi-purpose places. So it's not just classrooms, but it's like creating an environment where students can work. So
it's so important to have students feeling comfortable, especially when they're so far from home, and creating those really comfortable environments we found is conducive to really good work. Students are really excelling in their studies, and when they're happy in their mind and happy in their environment, the quality of work and the standard of work is really at a very high level, which is where they need to be in order to be recognised by industry with future opportunities. So I just would like to maybe just quickly show you some of the campuses. The first one is Sydney campus. That is based in Ultimo, which is focusing totally on design, but you can see in the photograph there is a few students working with a lecturer discussing potential challenges within a project, and this is a typical environment where students will work with their lecturer to actually explore options within a project. The Rocks campus, this is a beautifully appointed campus. It's a very old heritage listed building, but the view from the window, although you can't see it in the photograph, is at the Opera House. And quite often we'll have passenger liners like the QE2 and the Queen Mary pulling up outside. So this is a beautiful location to study, and people come to Australia to go to this location. Students can come here and study. So this is the Business College in Sydney, and students who wish to do a Bachelor of Business, this is one of the potential locations they can come to. In Melbourne, we have a newly appointed college down there that is co-shared with business, health, a nursing school and design. So this is a very co-shared environment which has a lot of energy and buzz with the students. It's a very modern campus, but it's in the epicenter of the cultural centre of Melbourne. And what we are working on is on a project at the moment to enlighten that and enhance that environment even further with street art and a lot more energy that is synonymous with the Melbourne culture. So it really becomes a beautiful place to study and engage. In Brisbane, it's a very different tone. Brisbane is a much quieter city, it's a smaller city and a slower pace. The campus in Brisbane is very contemporary in its appointment, and it co-shares between design and business students. A very beautiful place to study and very relaxing environment. So all these environments have been appointed with one point in mind, is to make them a comfortable place for students to study. Adelaide is the headquarters of Torrens University, and it is probably the smallest campus we have, but again a beautifully appointed campus. It is predominantly for business students, but we do have media design students which are from MDS in New Zealand, taking courses there as well. This particular campus is the administration centre of Torrens University, and again it's an amazing, comfortable place for students to study. So across the Tasman and in New Zealand, we're very, very fortunate to add one more member to our family, and that is Media Design School. And they joined us about 2 years ago. They are specialists in the digital media realm, and they have magnificent projects. They're ranked #1 in the world for graphic design in that particular category of design in the media space. But patrons of that college and alignments with that college are people like Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings. They work in collaboration on projects with him. Giving students exposure to that high-end level of artistry is just an amazing opportunity for students, and it's dealing with the world's best in that arena can only lead to an amazing opportunity and experience.
Didn't I see a ranking saying that they were the #1 college in media design in
That's correct.
In Asia, was it?
No, globally.
Globally? Oh, wow.
And they have consistently ranked in the top 3 over the last 5 years in various categories related to the specialty of media design and digital execution.
That's fabulous.
It's an amazing achievement for a college of that size. So when you think of Torrens University, not to think of Torrens University as a university and a ranking, but think of the components of Torrens University and the colleges that represent it, and the position that they hold within the industry is really what defines us and what makes us so well recognised and accepted and sought after by industry.
Super. So Mark, I mean, the campuses sound amazing. The people that I've met there are amazing. So, can you tell us, this is for undergraduate students.
That's
so,
correct.
all undergraduate students of Pearl Academy can transfer out of Pearl into Torrens University to do their final year at Torrens University and get a Bachelor of Design or a Bachelor of Business or a Bachelor of Media and Communication. Now the question is that what exactly will they do in this final year?
Okay. So on completion of studies at Pearl, students can articulate across to a bachelor degree, whether it's in business, communication and media or design. To complete the 1 year bachelor program, students will need to undertake 8 subjects of study. We have a trimester model in operation in Australia, which is a little bit different to the academic calendar of Pearl, but it allows students a lot more flexibility in their study loads. So it allows students to choose to do 2 subjects or 3 subjects a trimester, which gives them a little bit more pace and a little bit more time to invest into those subjects to achieve better output. So the subjects have been very carefully curated for Pearl students to allow them to enhance their learning, continue the journey that they've already been on with Pearl and close that loop, so they actually will qualify with a degree that is specialised in their area of expertise, but also will give them the creative confidence to maybe go on to further studies and secure a master's program and hopefully maybe even up to a PhD in the future. But certainly at the moment we're looking at an undergrad transition for our students. The nature of the subjects are very much about critical thinking, about problem solving, and about using their skills and their confidence that they've acquired to date and applying it in a very effective way through subjects like social enterprise, work integrated learning, which really looks at being placed in industry and working on live industry briefs that are aligned with the best of the best partners that we have in Australia and internationally. And then subjects like a double capstone, which really is a major project that students can immerse themselves in. It has the equivalency of 2 subjects. And what students are expected to do here is to develop a project that is very robust, built on research and how research has been evaluated, how ideas have been generated, how they've been prototyped, how they've been executed, and finally how they've been proposed as a solution as both sustainable and financially viable. So these types of immersions in the subjects really create a tremendous sense of credibility in the student's portfolio, and certainly when they would look to present for interview, it becomes a real differentiating factor when they look to secure work in future employment. So
are you saying that every student who goes from Pearl gets the opportunity to either work as an internship in an Australian company or work on a project with an Australian company as part of the work integrated learning?
Very much so.
Wow.
We curate our partnerships very carefully, so it's really about offering students the best possible experience so they can put in context what it means to be a designer in a modern world. And so students are given the opportunity to pursue an internship. We help them identify where they would like to work. We work with them to build their portfolio, to build their letters of reference, to build their application for internship, and hopefully present them for interview, and they're successful. This allows them build respect, credibility and professionalism in their approach, and this is what industry is looking for. If they're successful, it's quite often students are invited to come back and work. So there's huge opportunities here that if they take a very professional approach, that is recognized by industry. So no matter whether it's a live brief that they will work on or whether it's spending time within that particular institution or within that particular business, students are given absolute industry best practice and experience, which is an amazing thing to have going into a future career.
That's super. And does like the college, so I heard you say that the college university helps them get the project,
that's correct.
But is there any help during the project? Like, do they have a mentor, or how? What if they need some help while doing this project for the industry?
What we have in place is we have a team of what we call success coaches. These individuals work with students to help, I suppose, help them align, help them navigate through the challenges of industry readiness. It really gives them the confidence that they're doing the right thing, and it helps them build that approach, that professionalism that is so needed and that defines who they will be in the future and how industry will receive them. So there is a buddy system that we have for students that will help them settle and work, but the success coach support is invaluable to the student's success. And that really will help students maintain momentum through their studies. And it's ongoing. So as soon as a student is placed in industry, there is two pathways that start to emerge. One is the success coach will continue to support the student from a pastoral point of view, and also you have academic involvement as well, because this is a subject that the students undertake. So there is requirements to meet there, which is submission tasks, and that is vetted and managed by the academic staff, by the academic team. So the student, while they're interning, they're also completing their degree. So it really is a beautiful combination of opportunities.
That's fabulous. Can I come along too?
I'm leaving in the morning. Absolutely. So I'd just like to maybe just go through a little bit of life at Torrens, and I've just mentioned about the success coaches, but this is also part of the next few slides. So this is really about understanding what the experience is. The quality of our programs are really are world class. The experience the students have, this is what I want to share with you. This is really what I want you to feel empowered by and feel that, yes, I would like to come to Australia to study. With the success coaches, what is really important is understanding study loads, understanding how we can pick and choose our subjects and connect them and sequence them properly so we can feel empowered and in control of our study requirements, what our responsibilities are as a student. The whole idea of being able to extend the experience of what life was like studying in Pearl, we want to continue that experience in Torrens University. But this is an integrated environment, and students will be given the opportunity to study with the students from all over the world, which really becomes a very energized place to be. And then when you've got lecturers who will mentor the students through, you have success coaches which will guide them, you'll have a buddy system that will really be there to help the students migrate through their studies and progress very, very, very well. It becomes a beautiful environment for students to be part of. It's really about a community. They're more than just a number. They're individuals, and they're seen as individuals. I mentioned earlier about small class sizes, and that helps define who we are. We're a boutique operation. We're not claiming to be the biggest university. Yes, we have a very, very big portfolio of colleges, but what defines the student experience within those colleges is the small class size and the ability to connect with lecturers on an ongoing basis. And a lot of the conversations actually take place outside of the college, outside of the classroom, which allows students a greater, I suppose, sense of comfort and confidence in their ability to respond to assessment tasks, and they progress through their studies with a lot more attitude, a lot more innovation, and a lot more momentum. So with work integrated learning, I just very want to touch on it very, very quickly. And there's a slide here that probably maybe not all will be able to read, but how does this work in the context of study? What we've set up when students are successful in securing an internship, they will have 90 hours of contact with industry. What this allows them to do is to really immerse themselves into the best practice of that particular employer, really understand how things work, what's expected of them as they enter industry, and really about how they can progress and build their careers. On top of that, there's a further 30 hours that students are expected to use a self-directed study where they respond to their briefs, where they respond to the academic requirements of the subject. And the combination of the two of these is really what defines the work integrated learning subject. Now this is delivered over a 12-week program. As we have 3 trimesters of study in the year, when they do work integrated learning, that is contained in 12 weeks. So students go through that particular project in that time frame. If they're doing really well in their internship and they would like to stay longer and the employer would like to have them longer, that is not a problem.
Wow.
So this is really about giving them as much opportunity as possible. But we have put parameters around it so it actually works as a subject as well. So industry partners, I mentioned very, very briefly about how important it is to get the balance right there. So we have, over the years, we've built a tremendous network of industry alliances. Industry come to us because they appreciate what our students can offer. They see our students as problem solvers, as creative thinkers, as students who are agile and very, very motivated. And that has set a beautiful benchmark for Billy Blue and Torrens University to promote students and produce students that are of the highest caliber and what really industry are looking for. Now, with that in mind, we've attracted some of the biggest names within the industry and even associated industries, which is really interesting. So students are given opportunities to look at particular pathways, particular areas of focus, whether it's in digital, whether it's in branding, whether it's in user-centered design, whether it's in fashion, interiors. There's a whole portfolio of opportunities there. But what's really also emerging, and this is something that is really exciting, is this interaction with the corporate sector as well. Banks, insurance companies, high-end corporate advisors are now looking to students from design because of their specialty and their knowledge in design thinking and user-centered thinking to be able to evoke cultures of change within their organization.
Super.
And that is really, really important. It's an emerging industry that our students are now equipped to engage with, which is something that other design houses or other institutions have not aligned with. So we have preempted this for the last couple of years, have curated a study program to allow students to engage in this type of methodology, this theory, this approach. So they're equipped to now approach these types of employers for future opportunity. And it really becomes a very, they're highly sought after, which is very rewarding for us because we know we're in step with what industry needs and wants and continues to want. They come to us as we advise what the next generation, the next chapter is. So it's really good.
Fabulous. Is that it?
It's more future focused. So
okay. So should we carry on because I've started getting questions already,
okay, well,
or
I'm
are there?
Happy if you want to.
Do you have any more slides?
I'll just. What I have here is just future focus, which is really talking very quickly about. You know, if students want to continue on and above a bachelor program and the opportunity to do a master's program, advanced master's program, even up to PhD level, all that is available to students if they want to continue their studies. If students will study with us for 2 years, they will be automatically given the opportunity to work in the industry in Australia for up to 2 years after they complete their studies, which is an amazing opportunity to kickstart their careers and really, you know, who knows where that will lead them if they give them the right opportunities. So this is really the end of one chapter, the start of a new, and it is basically an amazing journey that students can embark on for future careers.
So what I'm hearing, Mark, is that if a student comes, a student from Pearl comes to do their final year at Torrens University and then does a 1-year master's after that, or 1.5-year master's after that, they can actually they are eligible to work for 2 years in Australia.
Yes, that's right. The visa requirements, the visa that's available for students will provide that type of additional time to put into practice what they have learned as part of their study pathway, which is really a great opportunity, a fantastic opportunity. And as I mentioned, our students are highly sought after, so securing quality employment is very, very probable. But I will say that it's only as good as the effort the student puts in.
Absolutely. You know? That's the same anywhere in the world.
Of course.
Okay, super. So I have some questions that are coming in and we'll take some of them, and don't forget, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section. So the first question is from Sunita, and the question is that on what basis is a Pearl student selected if he wants to transfer credits and study at Torrens University?
All students who complete their programs at Pearl Academy are eligible to transition across to the bachelor program. All we require is students to successfully complete their studies at Pearl.
So that is their third year at Pearl for design and fashion students, and their second year at Pearl for the business and the media students.
That's correct. Okay. And as soon as that is successfully completed, then we have already mapped all the subjects that they're undertaking as part of the Pearl programs to the Torrens University bachelor programs, and where those alignments have been established, they will get credit for everything that they've studied, and they can transition into the final year of the degree to complete the degree in 1 year.
Super. Here's a question from Nishant. The question is, how many students are there at Torrens University?
Oh wow. We have approximately about 2,000 students in the design faculty, and I think there's close to 9,000 students in Torrens in total.
Oh wow.
So they're spread across quite a number of different colleges.
Super. There's a question from Raghunathan. He says that do postgraduate students of Pearl have this exchange program? So sorry Raghu, the answer is no, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We haven't figured that out. All postgraduate students, the courses that we have are validated by Domus Academy in Milan, and all students who do their PG are eligible to go to Domus Academy for 2 months during the course. And we've already had, did you know we had 2 students from Torrance come and study with us?
One of them was my student.
Oh, okay, yes.
And he actually studied work integrated learning as the experience here in India, which was
and
fantastic.
he was at the Mumbai campus.
That's
I met him at
That's
the Mumbai.
right.
Yeah,
Yes,
he was
Marco.
amazing.
You
Yeah.
know, and I'm delighted that the student has taken the initiative to do that and you know, had an amazing experience, because I firmly believe that this is not so much about study, this is about life experience. And those experiences, what comes back through the students' work and their ability to engage and cope. And you know, this is really about setting up careers and future opportunities for them. And it's entrepreneurial thinking, you know. So a student who has taken the opportunity to travel to India, experience the culture, experience the work and the ethic, it is amazing, it is fantastic.
Super. Okay, so here I have a question from Vandana who says that how many hours can you work while being a student at Torrens University? Can students
Yes, you
work?
can.
So
Absolutely.
Indian students who go to Torrens, they can work?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're enrolled in the bachelor programs in your degree program and you're studying in Australia, you can work 20 hours a week while you're studying. And that is to really facilitate and allow you to earn some pocket money and basically help you integrate into the community, to be part of life in Australia. And it's a really lovely opportunity. The nature of work can vary, of course, but depending on what the interests are, but you're certainly allowed to work 20 hours a week while studying. When you complete your studies and you do that extra little bit of time with us, and you're eligible for a 2-year visa to continue your studies, it's more expected that you're looking at studying or working in a professional capacity at that point.
So students can work for 20 hours a week even during the vacations. I mean,
yes, while they're studying,
okay,
while they're enrolled in the program.
While they're enrolled,
absolutely.
even during
Yes,
vacations.
even during vacation, absolutely.
All right.
So they're enrolled for a year, so they're they're eligible to work 20 hours a week for the duration of their studies.
All right.
That's
fine.
inclusive
Okay.
of holiday time as well.
Super. Okay, so we have a question from Aishwarya Gamande, and she says that does the course pattern change once we change the college? And I think that's kind of answered, but maybe you can touch on the fact that are the curriculums similar, what we do at Pearl and Torrance?
Yes, the learning outcomes that is achieved in the subjects that you will have studied as part of the Pearl programs, they have been very carefully mapped to the course learning outcomes which make up what the degree is built around. So there's a lot of similarity, a lot of familiarity with what one would have studied here in Pearl. I mean, I was even fortunate enough to be shown a lot of the student work today, and I was pleasantly surprised to see the depth of thinking, the execution, the quality of execution is superb. And this is really going to set the students up beautifully, because the confidence they will have and to be able to produce work of that calibre, and then mapped against some of the critical thinking concepts that the subjects that they will engage with, they will really hit some very, very high standards. And this is something that, you know, they should be celebrating and very proud of what they've achieved in Pearl, because this will only be enhanced further when they study with us in the bachelor programs.
Super, thank you. There's a question from Ashmi Madhya, and I think you've half answered it, but the question is that will we get internships and placements from Torrance itself? So I think placements is after a year.
That's right. So first of all, let me tackle the internship question.
Yeah.
It's very important that any student looking to intern, that it's not just gifted as a present, here's an internship and we want you to work there for 12 weeks. This is really about the professionalism of internship. So what we work with the students on is building their portfolio, getting their letters or their resume correct, getting their letters of introduction right, helping them prep for interview.
So when does that happen?
That happens pre-session. So if they choose to do an internship subject in their final trimester of study, in the preceding trimester of study, we will work with the student to build that type of preparation. And that is done with the success coaches. So they are well and truly prepared for this. So what we do, and we've got numerous requests to the college to actually see, can we provide interns for particular companies.
So companies come to you asking,
They come to us. So what we do is we align students with those companies based on their skill sets. What we can't do is guarantee they will get that particular internship. They have to earn it. Earn it in the sense that they got to present themselves, and you know, it's based on a merit program. But this is really, you know, there's so many opportunities there, and if the student is professional about their approach, they really do succeed and secure the internships. but it's really about the professionalism of the process is what's really important.
So if somebody doesn't want to do an internship, then during the work-related, what is it called, work-integrated subject, what do they do? Yeah.
There is an opportunity, if they don't want to intern, they can do what we call a live brief, which is a brief that is being developed by industry for industry. So these are briefs that come in from industry and they are aligned to a particular line of study. So if you're a fashion student, you will get a brief that is totally focused on fashion. Communication, the very same. Digital media, interiors. So these are briefs that are perfectly aligned with their particular areas of expertise and interest. And they work in a collaborative fashion with a team of students under the mentorship of a lecturer and work with the client as they evolve and develop a project. This is also, instead of teaching the students how to deliver, what students actually do in this fashion is they bring their skills as young designers to the table and work out and strategize how they're going to deliver this solution. So it's a very, very professional environment, and these are live briefs. The lecturer and the client are expecting a return. So the student has to really take a very professional approach to this. An amazing opportunity.
I think that's really interesting because firstly, of course, to work for an international client and work on a brief, but also to work in a team where there are students or from other countries.
Absolutely.
So the Australians, the Indians, the other international students who are there to really work together and come up with a solution, and this must be really valuable for the companies also.
It is hugely, I mean, they have a lot of respect for what our students can produce. And an example of this was a project that came into us, 2 trimesters ago, from Nestle. Now Nestle would be the equivalency of Cadbury.
Yes, so we know we have Nestle.
Global.
Yeah, Nestle. We have Kit Kat and Milkmaid.
And that's exactly what I wanted to say. Kit Kat, they have redesigned the Kit Kat packaging.
Oh, really?
So they were given an opportunity of repositioning Kit Kat, reinventing the packaging for Kit Kat. The students worked in a collaborative way. They produced a number of different concepts. They developed the concepts through iterations with the client, and that was concluded over 12 weeks. And now 1 or 2 concepts have been selected. Those students have now been invited to bring those projects to full completion.
Wow.
So it's an amazing opportunity, and you know, I wish I had those opportunities when I was going to university all those years ago, but they're certainly there for our students today.
Okay, so here's a question from Johnny Ralph, who says, what about living expenses? I don't know if you're the right person. Do you have an idea?
Johnny, unfortunately, I'm not the right person to answer that for you, but we have, what I will say, in a way to sort of offset some of those costs, you could consider studying some of the subjects online. You don't necessarily have to come to Australia for a whole year. You could come and study online some subjects and then come for a trimester, and this was confirmed for me this morning with
and so can you try to explain that again?
Yes.
So when students finish, say if design students or fashion students finish their final their 3rd year at Pearl, and business and media students their 2nd year at Pearl, they can then transfer credits out of Pearl Academy into Torrens University.
Right. Enroll into the degree.
Enroll into the final year of the degree,
and every subject that is asked or is set up for the student to take, it is 8 subjects for them to do. Every subject is also available online.
Wow.
So students can choose if they want to study online or study face to face. Of course, we would love the students to come and visit us in Australia and get the full experience, but that's not always very practical. So there is provision there for students to choose how they would like to study. And if it's more suitable for them to come in the final stages of the year and complete their studies in Australia, but maybe do 1 trimester online, that is certainly a possibility.
Wow.
Now, what we would do in those cases is carefully work out the study mode with the students so they are really understand what is involved in that process.
Super.
Studying online is quite a challenge, and it needs to be, it needs dedication from the student in order to be successful.
Super. So what I'm hearing is that students can go and do a full year face-to-face at Torrens, Australia,
correct, yes.
Or they could do a full year online.
Potentially,
yes.
that is correct.
Or they could do some parts of the course online and some parts face-to-face. So I think I would love to just come. If I was a student, I would go there for an entire year.
What we're proposing to do is to really create a full infrastructure for the students, because there is a lot of students certainly expressed interest in coming to study with us. With that in mind, accommodation and where will they live, transportation, how do they get to the campus, what campus will they even study at. So what we would like to do is put a full information pack together over the next couple of weeks that we can share with parents and with prospective students, so they can make informed choices about what they would like to do and how they would like to go about it. It's important that we work with them to make this as seamless and as smooth a transition to studying in Australia as possible, and that's very attainable.
So do you know that more than 50% of the students who joined us in the last year
I heard a little rumor.
yes, are interested in coming to Torrens University,
okay.
so you better get it all
so
ready
we
for
have a full team, well and truly primed to support the students.
So I think the next question is from Asna Oberoi, and it's about accommodation for Indian students. Yes. So I think you kind of answered that as of today you don't have like a whole housing for Indian students, but
Torrens doesn't have accommodation no more than Pearl has their own accommodation.
Absolutely.
We will work with third parties that will provide us the best accommodation that is secure, that is safe, and that's really important, that you feel comfortable in staying in these environments. And what I think is also very plausible, and what we should be looking to do, is to bring students together. So the Indian students would be able to stay together. It's not a case that they have to go everywhere else. It's about finding how we can work with them to allow them to feel comfortable. So these are conversations that we're having at the moment. We don't have all the answers just at this point, but we're certainly working towards that. And when they're ready to come to Australia, these will be well and truly in place, so students can make informed choices about where they want to study and stay.
Super. So here's a question from Shweta. It says that your slide said said social entrepreneurship. What is that?
Okay. Social entrepreneurship is a beautiful subject that focuses on how we can use design and a design thinking approach to solve problems. So all the design...
Like what kind of problems?
Both social problems, humanitarian challenges, here for good challenges. They don't have to be the biggest problems in the world, but it's about making our community and our life much, much better. It's about how we can use design as an agent of change.
Super.
And to really empower communities to have a better quality of life. I'm a real advocate about design being all about meaning and the power of meaning, as opposed to just looking pretty.
So, but social entrepreneurship, so is there a little bit of a business,
there's a business
entrepreneurship?
Exactly, because it's not so much about having ideas, it's about having sustainable ideas that are financially viable. And it's about understanding that rhythmic exchange between developing ideas to meet a need, having the feasibility to deliver against those ideas, but also the viability to ensure what you're proposing is financially viable and sustainable as a solution. It's that complete package is what will define a social solution, and design can be the catalyst for change and execution.
So here's a question from Dolly Kalra, and I'm not sure whether you have the answer about the IELTS score.
Okay, the IELTS score I believe is 6.
Okay, and is that for the final year, or what about?
Well, okay, so students who come to us as an international student, they're obliged to do an English test, and it's called IELTS. And the entry standard is 6. Now that is the equivalency of conversational English, okay? But what we have certainly learned that that's unfortunate.
That's okay. We're just getting the campus ready for the next set of students who are coming in. But
okay.
Nishant, will you take a look at that? Okay. Yeah, okay.
A little bit of a disruption, not to worry. So students who will undertake their application to come and study with us, they need to do an easy English exam. So I mean, I'm not...
is it easy?
Oh, I think it is. I mean, English is a second language, if not the first language here in India. And
yes.
I have been able to communicate freely with everyone here.
Yes.
So I'm not anticipating any issues whatsoever. Where I will say, though, is that academic English is a little bit different.
So does IELTS, does it look at...
IELTS doesn't cover academic English. So IELTS covers your basic English requirements.
So no problem with IELTS,
I don't perceive any problems. But what I've anticipated is academic English is a little bit different, and that is very much about how subjects are written, how briefs are written, so students can fully understand what's been asked of them. So to help the students acclimatise for this, what we will have in place is a module that students can engage in, complete before they would study with us, which will help them understand, say, proper referencing, proper terminologies within the design language.
Is it an online module? Is it one of the Laureate online modules?
No, it's something that we're developing at the moment.
All right.
And with specifically the Indian students in mind, because of the volume of students that will be coming to us. It's something that we've identified for a long time with international students, because while it's very unfortunate that some students, they come and study with us, they haven't got a great command of English, and they will struggle. So this is to try and offset that pressure and allow them a lot more confidence in
Could they do it before they'd come in?
That is the plan.
Super.
That is
so
the
before
plan.
students get on a plane to go
Yes,
to Australia, we can have it. We'll have the online module, which would help them in academic
Absolutely. And this is
English.
not a cost associated module whatsoever. This
it's
is
just
really to help
support.
them, introduce them to the nature of English within the subjects. And I'll be working with the team here in Pearl to understand the phraseology that we use in briefs, in the way the subjects are written. So there is no misunderstanding in what's been asked.
Super.
So there's a lot of consideration around the cultural balance, really, between how information is understood and perceived. And once there's clarity there, then students will feel really empowered, really confident to have a go.
Super. So here's a question from Anuj, and maybe it's for me. It says, why did Pearl choose Torrens University? Super. So yeah, well, Pearl Academy, as you know, we are really India's most outward looking, forward looking design, media and fashion college in India. And when we went out looking for a partner, there were colleges all over the world. There are art colleges, there are fashion colleges, there are design colleges, but there were not too many which actually covered the entire scope of what we were looking for. So that is one advantage that Torrens University had. The second advantage is really that we found that Torrens University, possibly like Delhi University, well, like they came together, had specialist colleges in each of these areas, and together they came in with a very modern approach where online learning is possible. A lot of digital is there in the classroom. The classroom spaces itself, the entire environment that we saw at Torrens University was a lot like what we believe in, where there is a lot of mentoring, a lot of personal connection between the faculty and the student and the industry. So even at Pearl, I think you probably have seen that.
I've seen it here,
yeah,
absolutely.
so that industry is something that is essential, and industry is something that we put into our teaching and learning so that students are really ready for the industry. So these are the two main reasons why we saw a common or a commonality between Pearl and Torrens University, and I am sure that it's going to be fabulous.
You know, we've been having this conversation for quite a number of months at this stage, and it's only getting richer and richer and richer. And as we've closed that first chapter in all the preparation, now we're looking at a very exciting chapter, which is really about getting it ready for the student experience. Yeah. And the parallels that I have discovered while visiting Pearl Academy has been quite extraordinary. And it's very rewarding to think that what we do and what we believe so passionately about is being exercised here on a daily basis, which makes the whole student experience a continuation of what they have had in Pearl. So this is something that students will feel very comfortable with, and really it's a perfect fit. It's a beautiful union between the two entities.
Okay, here's one for you. There's a question from Manan Desai. It says, what's it like to live in Australia?
Well, you may have guessed my accent is Irish.
And how long have you been in Australia?
I'm living in Australia 25 years.
Wow.
I would be just like you. Many years ago, I qualified as a young designer, and I wanted to go and see the world. And actually, I'll tell you a little story. My brother was a chef in the QE2.
Oh, wow.
And he visited Australia. His ship pulled up right outside Piermont campus, or the Rocks campus, I should say. And he sent me home a little video to say, I'm now in Sydney. And that was the moment I'm going to. And that was 25 years ago. So Australia is a beautiful, beautiful country to live in, to work in. It's a modern country. It's a very easygoing lifestyle. Everything about it is just a pleasure to be there. And I think anyone who's ever visited the country they've had a good experience.
Okay, super. I think that another thing that I really liked, and of course I've been to Sydney and Melbourne, is that it's very international. It's not just got one kind of.
No, it's very multicultural.
It's very multicultural. The restaurants, the kind of theatre, the kind of art. The people walking on the streets, I mean, it's like really like a melting pot of people from around the world. So I think I found that really quite interesting.
I mean, you'll find Melbourne is very European in its influence. Sydney is very cosmopolitan, and Brisbane is very, very contemporary, but a little bit of a slower pace of life because it's a lot hotter in Brisbane. Probably very aligned with what temperatures are here in India, but. you know, there's different tones and different moods, and you know, depending on what really appeals to you, you'll find a comfortable home there. There's no doubt.
Super. So, Mark, I think we're going to close now because we're running out of time. But well, I'm not going to let you off that easily. Oh. So, one last question from me to you. Anything you saw, and what do you think of Pearl? This is your first visit here.
Oh, wow. It's the energy that's in the place. While there's no students here at this moment, I spoke to parents and some students in Mumbai on Saturday, and of course here in Delhi yesterday, and it was really pleasing to see the amount of faculty that came in to be part of this. So the dedication of the team here can only be, that speaks volumes about the energy in the college. And surrounded by beautiful setting, you know, really, really lovely campus, it has to be a beautiful place to study. And, you know, this is something that, you know, if you're in a nice environment, you can only achieve success, you know, and that's something that I will take away. And the traffic.
Oh, and the traffic, yes. Okay, super. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen and youngsters, this is Mark O'Dwyer, Program Manager, School of Design, Torrens University, Australia. Thank you for being with us. And if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comment box. The counselors will answer them. But this was just a little session for everybody to understand, and of course me, I also learned a lot, thank you Mark, about like what's happening at Torrance and how can a student really benefit and get the best of Pearl right here in India and the best of being in an international world at Torrens University, Australia. Thank you.